Well, thank you, everyone. You probably heard a double feedback there. I had my speakers on. Oh, well, it's nice to be on this show. And of course, I'm dressed up like the guru. That's our new character. So, what did you think of our new character? Huh? I was just wondering. What? You guys aren't saying much. Out there, what's everyone think of the new character? I knew you guys would like it. I knew you would like it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to play character, okay? So today, my friends, I want to say Happy Valentine's. My name is Bernard, and I speak Bernese. Are you wondering what Bernese is? That's when we speak slow, from where we come from, Vernobia. In our ancient language, we take a breath between sentences, and it helps us to gather our thoughts. I am very soft-spoken, so I will have to speak closer to the mic. Where I come from, we cannot raise our voice. We can only speak with love and conviction and spirituality. In our land, we have learned to release all of our negative energy, and we let that go with breathing, by breathing in and breathing out. And then we gather our thoughts, and then we connect with a higher spirit. My Father is the same Father that Jesus, his Father, was. We pray to our Father who art in heaven. And we hallow his name. And we help the poor. And we think of all the people that need help on the earth. And how love will soon cure all of these problems. Today, my friends, we are going to talk about love. And we're going to go to the Bible. And we're going to read the most passionate verses about love. So just stay tuned and we'll click the Bible on. Love has many facets. When we think of love, we think that it's patient, it's kind, and it doesn't envy or boast. But these are things that Paul talked about. I think, friends, on Valentine's Day, we should really talk about love. King Solomon said, longing for her beloved, "Oh, that you were like a brother to me, who nursed at my mother's breasts. If I found you outside, I would kiss you, and none would despise me. I would lead you and bring you into the house of my mother, she who used to teach me. I would give you spiced wine to drink, the juice of my pomegranate. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embraces me. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, that you do not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. Who is that coming up from the wilderness, leaning on her beloved? Under the apple tree I awaken you. There your mother was in labor with you. There she bore you, was in labor. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is strong as death. Jealousy is fierce as the grave. Its flashes are flashes of fire, the very flame of the Lord. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can floods drown it. If a man offered for love all the wealth of his house, he would be utterly despised. You see, friends, you cannot put a price on love. Love is not attainable by money. Here's the final advice to others. We have a little sister, and she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister on the day when she is spoken for? If she is a wall, we will build on her a battlement of silver. But if she is a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. I was a wall, and my breasts were like towers. Then I was in her eyes, in his eyes, as one who finds peace. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal Hamon. He let out the vineyard to keepers. Each one was to bring for its fruit 1,000 pieces of silver. My vineyard, my very own, is before me. You, O Solomon, may have the 1,000, and the keepers of the fruit 200. And he, O you who dwell in the gardens with companions, listening for your voice, let me hear it. And she, make haste, my beloved, and be like a gazelle or a young stag on the mountains of spices. Well, there you have it. Get the studio back. And we'll even put in join the chat. So that was the Swami, the guru part of the act. But that was from the Bible. And that was Song of Solomon. It was a very beautiful passage. Oftentimes, I remember when I was at the Kingdom Hall, and I remember I did 30 years there. And one time I had to do this in my Bible reading. So, you imagine a young guy getting up there and not married yet, and gets this one. Every young guy on the schedule, he phones in sick that night, and some elder has to do it then. It's usually what happens. But good old faithful, I went up there and gave it. But, when you really understand it, it's not that bad, and this is just normal life. And this is really love. And tonight we wanted to talk a little bit about love, and we want you guys to join in on the chat. And I'm going to take a look here and see who's streaming in. So Gabby's online, and she says, "What is love? Baby, don't hurt me anymore." I was going to put that song on, and I did a video a while back. If you follow my channel, it was "What is Love." I had to delete it because I had a copyright strike on it, and I had that song because I actually asked, "What is love?" So you plug it into the internet, "What is love?" and that's what comes up. "Baby, don't hurt me," and everyone knows that song. It was one of my favorite. I think I'm dating myself a bit. Abby, you and I probably lived the same date back then. That's good. Those were the good old times, the 80s, 70s, 80s. I like those times. But, but we're talking about love here. And love is a complicated subject when we talk about love. We think love between two people. That's one of the most complicated things. Agape love, it's probably an easier one. I love God. That's an unconditional love for God. I'm not sure what unconditional means, but I love God. Yeah, that's a love, right? Agape love for people around us. Someone falls down, a little old lady falls down, you're going to stop and help her up. That's agape love. So love between a man and a woman, and we had some parts on love a while back, if you remember. There's 7 parts to love. And we look in the Greek language. There's eros, there's phileo love, family type love. There's a love triangle. If you Google this, it's a Canadian that invented this love triangle, and all these loves kind of flow together. So, for instance, when two people meet, there's like fireworks, there's sparks. It's just something clicks. You get together, and then you go home, and you can't wait to see that person again, and that's all you think about is that person. And sometimes it's infatuation, but a lot of times you feel the sparks. You just feel it. And even though others might tell you, well, that's not the right person for you, but something there, you feel it. So you go with your gut. And that's where eros love comes in, and the flaming love. And so this love flames up, and then it settles down and turns into more of a familiar love or a family type love when marriage happens. And then it turns into, there's what they call a long-term love. I forget the name of that one. But there's different words in the Greek language, and I'll post on this live afterwards. I'll post some of my videos on love so you can go back and look at them. And we went through all the different facets of love. And it's really fascinating when we think of how love is connected. And so you meet someone, you fall passionately in love, that's eros love. And then you have family love, you raise a family, and all of these forms of love. How do you keep this all going in today's age when there's so many trials, there's so many tribulations? And I think one of the important things, if I could give advice to anybody, is don't let the elders, don't let the governing body, don't let neighbors, friends, or anybody get in the way of your love. Because if you do, then your love is actually more love to the governing body. You love the governing body more than, and the governing body will throw their twist on it. The governing body will say, well, no, this is Jehovah. If you love Jehovah, then you're going to ignore the principle about honoring your families and things like that. That's another love, honoring families. It's in the 10 commands. It's the 5th command. It's in every religion, by the way. Every single religion on earth, by the way, honors the family except ding Jehovah's Witnesses. We don't like to say that all too often. We should probably just ding a cup. Maybe I'll get my good wife to bring me a cup over here and I'll just ding that. It's kind of monkish, guru-ish. So she'll do that. She's really got all these props all over the place here. This is, by the way, her costume. She invented this. But
I invented a sheet.
I'm just the actor. I'm the, I said we were watching. I'm not going to steal the line, but we were watching the show the other night, Community, and one of the actors said, life is just a film. We're just all in a big movie, and we are all just actors, and it depends how you dress up. It's funny. I was a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago. I recommended this fella I was studying with. Well, I quit the JW, so you'll have to study with someone else. I'll take the cup right now, if you want to bring it. You're waiting. Thank you. Yeah, so we're going to use this cup. This is going to be one of our props. Can you see it here? Oh yeah. I'll just go like, there. You know who? Yeah, we won't say their name. 'Cause sometimes we just oversay names, and they get too much of our airtime. So we can use other methods to get our points across. I remember I was watching some sitcom and the guy wouldn't say the name after all. As well, the elections were going. There was a Trump and the other guys. And we're from Canada, so it was just like a comedy show for us. Sorry about that, guys. But if you're Jehovah's Witness, it shouldn't matter to you. It should be a comedy show. It's just one big movie, because the Bible spells it all out anyways. And like we read that scripture in the premiere today. I'm going to read that scripture. I think it's really cool. And it's from Ecclesiastes. I'm going to have to put my glasses on here. But it's from Ecclesiastes 1 and verse 7. And we're going to use the Jehovah's Witness Bible here. So, if I can find it. Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. Here we go. I used to. My grandmother loved Ecclesiastes. That was her whole favorite book of the Bible. And every time, and she wasn't out a Jehovah's Witness, but I'd get to count time and I'd go visit her, and we'd bring the kids. It was winter here in Canada in the winter time, and dress the kids up, and we go out and go to the service arrangement, and then we go see Grandma. And Grandma would always get me to read these scriptures to her. And I think it's Ecclesiastes. Is it 9 in verse? Let me look at it here. Appointed time, hard work, eventuality. Is that it? The eventuality for everything? There is an appointed time. A time that we read that one. I think I was reading somewhere else. We'll have to just cut this part of the video, honey, and I'll have to find it, and then we'll have to just paste it back. And that's normally what we do when we make videos and we can't find stuff. But I'm using the JW Bible, and boy, does it ever look different.
It started at Ecclesiastes 1:2.
Was it really 1 and 2?
Yeah, it was really
The greatest vanity, the congregation has said, the greatest vanity, everything is vanity. What profit does a man have in all his hard work, at which he works hard under the sun? That's how that Bible says it. I'm going to read it from a different Bible. Do we have a different Bible? I'm gonna actually, we're gonna go to this maybe from that's Ecclesiastes 8. No one discharged. No, that's another one I was looking at. But I'm gonna go to the Bible. We're gonna switch screens. We're gonna pull you into the Bible. That's the cool thing about this. We can, if I get embarrassed, I can just disappear. Now you can't see me. Now you can see me. Now you can't. But for now, I'm going to disappear all of this stuff. And oh yeah, got to get rid of the studio. There. Now you can see me. So now I'm going to go over here and we're going to go to the Bible. There, now I'm gone. So we're going to look at the Bible here, and I want to look at we're just going to any scriptures. We're going to go to the book of Ecclesiastes. And together. By the way, this is a tool I use. I don't know, it's free online. Bible Gateway. Someone said to me that these guys are into bad stocks too. We're complaining about the Watchtower stocks. Now, all is vanity, the vanity of self-indulgence. Chapter 3 is a time for everything. Chapter 4, evil under the sun. 5, fear God. Evil, the contrast of wisdom and folly. I think it's 7, Keep the king's command. So I'm going to go to 7, the contrast of wisdom and folly. And I think it was in here, looking at the contrast of wisdom and folly. But this isn't the one I did. It was Ecclesiastes. It was another one. For some reason, I can't find it. Let's just go back and look at that one. Maybe it's the one on the vanity of self-indulgence. No, I'm going to go back to 1. Like, what does man gain by toil? Well, this is it. So, what does man gain by toil under the sun? So that's the thing. This is the English Standard. I'm going to go to the a different Bible. I'm going to go to the Amplified Bible. I use that one a lot. Or the King James Bible. That's the one that this was done in, the King James Bible. The vanities all, what profit does a man have from his labor under the sun? That's not the one that was quoted, though. Oops, sorry. I said in my heart, I will go and test thee. To every season there is a time for everything. How do you guys do research at home? This is how we do it. We just keep looking and going through things. Ecclesiastes. Now, I don't know why I can't find that. I should have had it lined up, I guess.
The problem is, you started reading Ecclesiastes about...
I got my paper. I found my papers.
Exactly.
Ecclesiastes 1 and 9.
Oh, no.
You were right.
I was close.
Yeah. So, we're going to go back to Ecclesiastes 1. We just didn't go down far enough. Okay, so here it is, folks. I'm going to highlight it. And this is where we got that scripture from that the guru quoted. The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. I thought that was profound. Because, and I'm going to go back to the screen so you can see me now that I'm not embarrassed. We can put the studio back on there. I should have been able to find that. I used it all day today. But I had to remember it, just remember the words. But I thought it was profound because everything that up until now that's done, it's done. You know, we don't have to... why think about it? Why replay the past? It's just a movie. And sometimes it can just make us angry. So, you know, some of the scenes, we might not like some of the scenes. But then we can play back some of the good scenes. And every movie has good scenes. It's just not all bad scenes. There's some love scenes in those movies. And we can think about those, right? On Valentine's especially. So... What I have out of the journey so far is that we have to have fun with life. We have to laugh. And I was married 28 years. You know, I got married young and had 2 kids and stayed married for 28 years. So that's hard to do. And could have ended a lot earlier, but we worked on it and kept it going and a lot of good times. So... We can focus on the good or the bad with anything in life. We could have a job. We can focus on all the bad things about the job. And then pretty soon we're going to hate the job, and pretty soon it's going to be written on our face. We don't have to even say anything. We're going to walk in and our boss is going to see that we have all this hate. We hate the job on our face. And they're going to start looking for someone to replace us. And then one day we come in, and next day we come in, we're replaced. So if we can look for the things in life that we love, you know, maybe I don't like the work, but maybe I like some of the people at work and I visit them on the coffee break. You know, we can look at the positive in life. So that's what I learned. That's just some of my advice. We look for the good in life. Transitioning out of a religion is difficult, but you can look for the good. There's a bit of exploring. It's like you get to explore things new, and you can look for the good in it. staying in the religion, you can look for the good in it. Let's say you're married, and we're finding on this channel, on these channels, that a lot of the people perhaps are in the Kingdom Hall, and they're just kind of checking in on some of these videos. And if you're one of them, hi, I welcome you. There's nothing scary on these channels. I might be dressed a little bit funny here, but that's just part of the costume. You know, we're all in a play. We're all in a movie. And it's interesting when we put on a tie, you know, well, we're going out in the ministry kind of a thing. And we put on this kind of a cloak here, this thing. It's a Roman outfit. Well, we're trying to emulate Jesus' time, I guess. Monk, guru, whatever, Swami. And we did some programs on Hinduism. I'm not trying to make fun of any religion or any faith out there. This is just my own little character I built. So we got a little bit of Jesus here, got a little bit of Jehovah's Witness here, and then I don't have the cowboy hat right here, but I got a cowboy hat, and that's a little bit of country. So that's how we came up with the character Bernard. And that's kind of, we all have a character. But I was telling you guys, it's funny, my friend, I turned him over to study with the Jehovah's Witness. And in a month or so, he phones me up and he says, no, they won't put me on Zoom. I can't go live because I've got to wear a collared shirt. I got to look a certain way, and that's kind of the rules. And so I said, so what are you going to do? He said, I'm just going to stay off. I can just listen to everything at the Kingdom Hall, and you know, I'm not really in there until I want to wear the tie and shirt. And so I says to him, well, why don't you just go down to Value Village? Like, the guy's got a good job and everything. And I said, just go down and buy something at Value Village. And he says, no, it's not the point. It's the point. I said, what do you mean the point? He said, well, it's the point. He said, no one should have to dress up to go to God's house. You know, this is God's house. God accepts me if I'm naked. And I said, well, take your shirt off then. You know, but that was just the end of the discussion. But, you know, I've been out of it for a while. I've never zoomed into a Kingdom Hall meeting, but perhaps you guys zoom in and you have to dress up if you want to be visible. But really, you know, it doesn't matter what we put on. It's who we are on the inside that counts. And that's where the love is, and finding ourselves, finding who we are, finding the truth to who we are, what we believe in. And then we start to figure that out, and then we can start to connect with God in a different way, in our own way that's probably more accurate. That, you know, when we don't have to go through a mediator. You know, I'm okay going through Jesus, but if I raise a question, and the Kingdom Hall has so many rules, and we all know that, and even if you're a JW and you're online, like, we all know that. So if you go outside of it, the governing body doesn't like that, and they actually claim that we're evil, I guess. You know, I've done parts on that. So we've used Mr. Fix-It. He's another character we use in this show. And he goes in and talks to the governing body about some of the stupid things that they're doing. And he does it in a nice way, you know, respectful most of the time. But that's another story, another night. But tonight we want to talk about love. And for you guys out there that are searching for love, maybe you're single still, and you're having a hard time finding love. And I'm going to give you a secret to love, to finding love. If you're single and you're trying to find love, this is going to be the biggest secret ever. Okay, I got to take a drink of water for this one. It's too hot of a subject. I got to cool it. Now, if you want to find love and you're alone, I'm going to ask you, we're going to use principles that Jesus taught us. Now remember, Jesus taught us the law of attraction. He said, what you reap is what you will sow. It's a very simple law. You see, spirituality is really, really, really simple. There's some simple stuff. What you sow is what you will reap. It's the law of attraction. It's like gravity. What you throw up comes down. It's gravity. That's the same as the law of attraction. And it starts inside our thinking. So now, if you want to find love, it starts inside your thoughts. And what are you doing? What are you thinking? What kind of love? Picture your love. Start imagining what your true love would look like. What would he or she talk like? What would they be like? Would they, there's everyone is unique in this world. We're all different. So we all have a unique desire when it comes to love. But love starts first inside your mind. That's the first place it starts. So if you can imagine it, every day imagine what this love is going to be like, what it's going to be like to be with someone forever, to live with that person and make that commitment and live with that person forever on this earth. What would that be like? That kind of love. And that's the starting place, is to start thinking about it. So now we think about it, we might go onto the internet and we might check things out, and we might check, well, I like how that he or she looks, or maybe we go to the Sears catalog. That's what we used to do when we were kids. Do you guys know what the Sears catalog is? Sears is out of business, but it's an old catalog like Eaton's, or I don't know what today they have, but we used to get these thick catalogs, and us kids would be sitting around the table looking at the brassiere in the bra section. And that's about all the pornography we had back then. But we'd be checking things out. I like how that girl looks. I like how that one looks. And, maybe, but the best way to check things out is to get out into the real world. And all too often people get hung up on the internet. And this is one of the dangers of the internet. Because remember, Jesus said you will reap what you sow. So if you're sowing internet, what are you going to reap? You're just going to reap more internet stuff. So what happens? The internet's very smart. The internet knows that you're looking at certain sites, and it's going to feed that to your phones or to your computer, and it feeds those sites, feeds all this stuff, and then the next thing you know, someone else in the house is walking by, and you got a guilty conscience because you don't want anybody to know what you're looking at. And you see, that's not love. That's a guilty conscience. We're actually going in the opposite direction of love, way in the opposite direction. You're better to use the Sears catalog. I think it's because it doesn't keep showing up in your mailbox. It just comes once a year. But anyways, the best is to go out into the real life. If you're single, the best is to get out into real life. You also, if you're in the Kingdom Hall, well, of course, you meet people in the Kingdom Hall. But if you're out of the Kingdom Hall and you don't have a Kingdom Hall to go to and it's kind of lonely, what do? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I volunteered my time. And I decided I have to get out of the house. So I didn't know what to do. So I volunteered my time. And I was a volunteer dancer, not a stripper. But I was a country dancer, and I would go to these country bars, and I'd put my cowboy hat on, and I'd put my cowboy shirt on, and I taught the bar people, and I couldn't really drink. I could have a few drinks, and you'd dance with people, and sometimes they would buy you drinks, and I used to dance with grannies, and they'd have bridal parties, in these country bars, and they'd have, and they liked dancer guys that knew how to two-step and polka and do a few things, and be stupid, and kind of like what I do on this show. And so we would go in and do that. And so eventually, this went on for a whole summer, and I ended up going to an outdoor concert, and no one was dancing, and there was a dance floor, so I was going down the rows asking people to dance, and here I met my wife. And she never goes to these things. Doesn't even like country. Never goes. But her girlfriends like country, and there was 3 girls, and I danced with all of them. And I could only dance with them for so long, and then I had to move on. And somehow they got my phone and put the numbers in, and I phoned her up, and lo and behold, we're married. We've been together for 10 years. It's a wonderful marriage. And sometimes the universe seems to pull things together. So that would have never happened over the internet. And she would have, if she doesn't like country dancing, her girlfriends, if she didn't listen to her girlfriends, that would have never happened for her. And here we get to explore this part of the journey of life together, Sorry about that. I keep hitting the mic. And we get to experience what real love is outside of religion, outside of people monitoring you, because she's ex-Catholic. And so she got outside of religion. I'm outside of religion. And then we actually didn't talk about religion until just a year or so ago. We started really talking about religion, but we were enjoying life so much. So that's my love story. And what I have to say is you have to get out there and you have to find your true love, because your true love isn't going to come to your door and ring your doorbell. It doesn't work that way. But start inside your mind, start imagining. And I'm going to tell you why this works, because when I went through, and I was single, when I went through a divorce and I was single and I was lonely and I was outside of the Kingdom Hall, and I had made this decision in life. It was my decision. I made this. And I'm just moving my mic out of the way here. But when I got outside of religion, it was lonely. And I was used to being around people all the time. And I was used to being in a relationship. And I liked being in a relationship. I liked it. And so not everyone does. It's different for everyone. So anyways, what's that? What do we have here? Finish with 1 Corinthians, a request. Okay. From you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's a nice part of love to finish up with.
Anyway, so not
And
not to cut you
oh
off.
yeah. I get carried away in my talks. I do. So we're going to go back to, I'm going to find this here in the Bible here on love. And we'll go to 1 Corinthians. We'll look at the full chapter. And we'll finish up with that. But before we, I might just put that in the background. I'm going to see if I can. Studio. There. And I can do this. I showed you guys some of the tricks I can do on this thing. I can move myself over like that. Technology. Okay, so here we are. This is the way of love. 1 Corinthians. And this was my first talk. First Bible reading I ever gave. And I was 18. Just started going to the Kingdom Hall, 18, maybe 19, I think it was 19. It was in Calgary. And my girlfriend just broke up with me. I actually got going to the Kingdom Hall because of love. I fell in love with this girl. And I thought she was the one. She was the one. And that's the other lesson. It's not always the one that we think is the one. Sometimes it's infatuation, and it was infatuation. But I thought she was the one. In fact, I went and bought her an engagement ring, because in the Jehovah's Witness world, you can't hardly go farther than a kiss. And you have to have an engagement ring on the finger, even to get to the kiss stage almost, and with some families. So it's very strict. But anyways, I engaged and gave this girl an engagement ring. And then she, I think her and her mom, talked some sense into her. And we were both too young. I was 19 and she was younger, probably 18. But anyways, we didn't get married. She gave me my ring back, and then a couple of weeks later, I had to give this talk on love. So it was a kind of a tough talk to give, I thought. But here, let's give it again. See, we can do it a lot different. I'm going to put my glasses on this time. My eyes have kind of changed since then. Okay, here we are. Now this is Paul speaking to the Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 13, and this is from the English Standard Version. Unless you guys like a different version, this is what comes up on the tool. I use it a lot. It says, "If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all the mysteries and all the knowledge, and if I have all the faith so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Did I jump ahead there? I thought it says love never fails. It says love never ends. You see, I think in the New World Translation it says love never fails. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. For now we see in a mirror, dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love. I think it's a beautiful passage. And Paul says, in verse 12 there, he says, for now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. So he's talking about kind of now, even his time. We don't see the big picture. It's like we're looking into a mirror dimly. I think the New World Translation talks about it like a hazy reflection off a metal mirror. And I like how that says it. Now, it says we see it's like a dimly lit, but then face to face. So you see then when Christ comes back, that's really what this is talking about. We will be able to see this a lot clearer. And that's why I come to the conclusion that we all don't have the perfect truth. We all don't, everyone claims to have the truth, and everyone wants the truth, but you can't handle the truth. Isn't that how it goes? Yeah, we probably couldn't handle the whole truth. Now we're doing a little bit of research, my wife and I, and we're looking into the book of love. This is the book of Mary, and that's an interesting book, and she had a lot to say about love. So we'll be sharing that as on upcoming channels, and I think for now we're gonna probably close off. It's been a little bit of an evening here. So who do we have? We have some people online. Let's go up the list here and say hi to everyone. How about that? So Gabby, we said hi to Gabby. Hello. And we have Spiritual Quester. Hello, Spiritual Quester. Nice to join us tonight. And then we have Sprayle BG. Thanks for joining us. Mr. M4 backwards R1Q. What is love, Hadaway, babe? Don't hurt me. Isn't that it? When you Google that, that's what comes up. And so you guys are having a little bit of a chat. So we're going to keep doing this every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. We'll have something going on, so please join us. Tonight it was on love. We wanted to keep it to the Song of Solomon. And if you missed it, you can go back. These lives will be pasted. They'll be up and available for you to read them. So, folks, until next time, just hold on. I don't think we're going to close off that way. Are we? I'm looking there at my production manager. Yes, my wife is my production manager. So what we're going to do here is we're going to throw the studio back on. And we're going to move me back over here. And then we're going to go over here. To stop streaming, I have to go over here. This is a little bit of a thing, but we're getting on to it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to play the music again and do a little jig. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's the music. I got mine turned off, so you should see that. for joining us.